Hello crafties, my name is Infiniti and I am back again with another crochet tutorial. As the title states, we are going to be doing a chevron stitch today. It's been a very long time since I have gone about this stitch, but we're going to jump right into it. Today I am using another red heart stripe. It is called retro stripe. I have this one skein left, so I decided to, why not, pull it out for a swatch. You're going to need a size 5mm crochet hook, a yarn needle, and of course your scissors. We'll use the needle and the scissors at a later time. What I'm going to do is start off with a slip knot. So I'm just going to make my little pretzel here and pull it closed. And for the chevron stitch, or the way I was taught, you chain in increments of 25. Pardon me. You chain in increments of 25, and then you chain, I think, 4 or 5 extra. So I'm just gonna go ahead and chain my 25. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So I have 25 stitches, but I am going to take the time to go ahead to 50 because I want you guys to see the true peaks and valleys kind of effect of the chevron stitch. So what's going to happen is, or what I like to do is put a stitch marker at my 25th stitch. And this is just a visual aid to me. It's totally optional. If you can keep up with your count and not lose it, go for it. So I'm going to start over counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And I'm going to grab another stitch marker and I'm going to place it in that stitch, or that chain rather. And then I am going to chain my plus 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so now that I have my 50 stitches, I am going to start my next row with single crochets. We are using single crochets this go round. If you are still struggling with the single crochet, maybe go back to my how to crochet video where I go over that, or find another tutorial that can teach you how to do that properly. So I am going to single crochet in this second stitch from my hook, so not the thing that's on the hook, but this very next one right here. And I'm just going to insert my hook and make my single crochet. If it wants to cooperate. Alright, so I have that in there, and I'm going to now make another single crochet in the next chain. That makes 2. And then I'm going to make one more right here in this third chain. And then I'm going to skip a stitch. So this is where my stitch markers are helpful. So I definitely know I'm not going into that one right here, but I'm going into the one where my stitch marker is. And at the beginning of every row of your chevron stitch, you are going to be doing this little starter single crochet thing, just because you lose stitches with this particular pattern, and it's just a way to compensate for that here and there. So now that I've gone into this stitch where my stitch marker is, that is our technically first stitch of our chevron stitch. So I am going to go on and make 10 more stitches. So 1, so that's technically number 2, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And you want to be careful with this pattern because it's very easy if you don't keep your count to mess up. I can remember when I started out trying to do chevron blankets and whatnot, that was a common mistake of mine. They would always be off a stitch or two or something like that. So, eventually I got it, but it took a bit. And me finally having to keep it in myself that I have to keep my count. So we've made that 11th stitch. Now what we're going to do in the next stitch is make 3 single crochets. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to make 1, 2, and 3. And this has made my first little peak of my chevron. And so now I'm going to work on going back down or into the valley. So a lot of common terminology with the chevron pattern is peaks and valleys. So you'll hear me using that on and off. So bear with me. So now I'm going to go back down another 11 stitches. So I'm going to insert my hook and make my first one. And then my second one. Number 3. And number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10. And number 11. So, a little off topic here. Guys, if you have seen my channel video that I posted, you will know that I am expecting, after the recording of this video, to have a new camera. So this will be the last video that I, prospectively am recording on my phone, and I will be able to have like a broader sort of spectrum to record in. Hopefully, maybe I can do something with my table space to where I can have a wider workspace so that I can stop going off camera, because I looked at some of my older videos and I'm like, oh, that's a problem. But alright, so now that we've made those 11 stitches, you see that we've come to these 2 stitches. Now this is important. We're going to skip these 2 stitches and we're going to go right here where my second stitch marker is. This is why I love my stitch markers. And this is going to create a valley. So what I'm going to do is insert my hook into that stitch with my stitch marker, and I'm just going to single crochet. And I'm going to make 10 more of these single crochets. This is number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And again, in that next stitch, we are going to make 3 single crochets to form another peak. So I'm going to do that now. Just going to go in there and do 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to finish out this row of the pattern by going down these last 11 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And I'm just going to do a quick recount because my yarn started to tangle on me. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stitches. And you skip 1 and you go into that last stitch of the row. Alright, so I'm going to take a pause and I'll meet you back for row 2 of our chevron stitch. By the end of row 1, once you've straightened out your single crochets, and don't worry if they curl up on you like they're doing to me right now, that is characteristic of single crochets. But anyway, I'm going to meet you back for row 2. Alright, so now we're ready to start row 2. And what I'm going to do is just chain 1, and I'm going to turn my work, and I am going to go into the base of this single crochet. So if you remember my single crochet video from the past, you'll remember me saying like this is the only stitch where if you go into the base of it for another row, it won't be out in this ugly shape, because that is obviously possible with chevron stitches, which is something I didn't realize could happen when I first started doing these. So, you know, the more you know. So I'm going to insert my hook right in there, and I'm going to pull up a loop and make my first single crochet, and I'm going to make another single crochet, and then I am going to skip that stitch, and I'm going to work up to my peak. I'm going to make 11, or rather 10 more single crochets. So I'm going to do that real fast. But no guys, I am super excited for this new camera, and I look forward to making the more complicated stitches with you guys. It's just something I didn't want to do while I was recording on my phone, you know, because it doesn't have, I mean, it has good megapixels, obviously enough to make these videos that I've been doing, but there is better. So I have made my 11 stitches. Yay. Wait, no, I have not. 10, 11. That's why counting is important. So now I've made my 11 stitches. And so in this next stitch, I am going to make 3 single crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. All right. And now I'm going to go back down into my belly. So what I'm going to do at this point is start counting to 11, going into this next stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And remember, we are going to skip 2 stitches. So 1, 2, I'm going to go into this third stitch right here. Let me do that again. I think I did that a little fast. Not this one, but this third one. You're going to insert your hook and make a single crochet. And then that counts as your first stitch, and you're going to count up to 11 and work back towards the peak. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And now we're going to go into that next stitch and create 3 single crochets. So there's 1, 2, and making sure I'm going back into the right stitch, 3, and then gonna work back down. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't you just love when the yarn tangles on you? I mean, I could do a whole video on tangled yarn, but let's not. Now I lost my count, so I'm going to go back and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, great. 10 and 11. And of course, we are going to skip 1, and we're going to work into those last 3 stitches. So this pattern is basically repeating these first 2 rows until you get the desired length of your chevrons. So what I'm going to do is take a pause, and I am going to work up some more rows of chevrons, and I'll meet you back when I have a swatch. I have come back, and I have made a little mini swatch with the chevron stitch to the point where it has not curled up on me. So really at this point, all you need to do is just take your yarn needle and sew in your ends. If you're going to make a full-on project, you just keep working your rows until you have enough rows, but otherwise you're done. Just going to sew that in there. And I'm going to snip my end. Alright, and that is how you do a chevron stitch. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and happy making.
Okay, crafties, thank you so much for making it through another video with me. Right here I have where I have blocked my chevron swatch, and I just wanted to let you guys know that it is super important to block with patterns like these because they tend to kind of V in or out, and it's just the nature of the stitching. So if you're making a larger project, I would recommend getting out those T-pins and those blocking mats and that spray bottle and blocking out your project so it looks as neat and professional as possible. So thanks again for listening in with me today, and happy making.